Hello and welcome to Postcards 63. I haven't done one of these for a very long time. For those of you that are expecting to get chess, I did actually have a chess postcard somewhere here. Oh, here we are. It's a king, isn't it? It's an ivory chess piece in the shape of a seated king found on the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides, Scotland, of course, probably made in Norway, AD 1150 to 1200. And it's from the British Museum. So there you are. Quite nice, isn't it? There he is, in all his dignity. Two cards. That one. And that one. It's a large card. This is Jane's writing table, Jane Austen's house in Chawton, which is near Alton, which has its own railway station. So if you were thinking of going to it, you could get from the railway station by taxi to Chawton in about a 20-minute drive. And it really is good. The museum there is really excellent. And there's lots to see. This is a pupil's writing table from Reading Charity School. Obviously, that's how they dress them up, so to speak. There you go. It looks like she's got a text with her. It may be religious, but I don't know. She looks quite gruff, doesn't she? This is Girl in Blue by Henry Ream. I don't think I pronounced that correctly. It's from the gallery at Penzance. I'm told the reason that they have these galleries in such far-flung places is because the lighting is better for the original artists. I mean, not now. There's something oldie-worldy. This is Hieronymus Bosch and the Adoration of the Kings. Oh, he's so nice. So there you are. A very mixed picture, which I do not have any interest in, but I thought somebody looking at this might have. So there we are. There's Mary with the little babe. Now, this is much more involved. In fact, I don't think you could get more involved. Wouldn't do to... There's a blue spot telling me I'm too near to the camera. There we are. See, it adjusts itself. This is Aveyron. So that's in Spain. That's in France, isn't it? Atelier du Regard. Something to look at. There we are. This may be in the entrance hall or outside of the church. But as to that, I'm not quite sure. No, this is much more straightforward. Where's that? You know? Want a bit longer to think about it? It's when viewed from the southwest. And this is a 1991 postcard. And it's of Lincoln Cathedral. This is something I picked up in a nice old bookshop in Winchester. There aren't many nice old bookshops anywhere. That's this one. So that's this, which is a book plate, isn't it? There we are. Now these are three, or four actually, all water related. A galleon at Brest, France, isn't it? And this is from a 1928 painting by Monsieur Buffet, Bernard Buffet. I can't speak French, can I? But there we are. That is who it is by. And at the back, the walled city. There you go. Le Château de la Loire. The river, in other words. This painting style, school of thought, Edition Greff. I'm not sure that that's please. Yes, there is. There isn't. This is Paris, of course. La Cité. In other words, the skyline. I'd like to be cocky and tell you all the various buildings, but I can't. But nevertheless, here we are. It's quite good. And here we are in London, the Millennium Bridge. Similar type of style, isn't it? See? And here's the Millennium Bridge, as I was saying. There's St. Paul's in the background. This is by Susie Brooks. Well, Susie Brooks, I heartily approve. There you go. Now, these are some cards from Winchester, where I go frequently. Here's one which I sometimes like to send people postcards for Christmas, just to be annoying, because they put them up like Christmas cards and then they fall down, and it annoys them. Those two little sheds at the front are from the market they have there annually, and at the back is the cathedral itself lit up. And that's quite fun, isn't it? Christmas market, it says, at Winchester Cathedral. Well, we knew that, but nevertheless. And here's the bookshop, one of the few remaining bookshops. There you are. Looks dull, and there's a dove bouncing up on the wall. And here's some. I like the Marx Brothers very much, so if I see anything celebrating their life, I normally get it. A Day at the Races, one of their films. Groucho, Chico, and Harpo. The year's big laugh music girl show. There you go. Here's a gruff old woman. Maybe she's had a hard life, in which case that's why she's gruff. From the National Gallery, and it is by Cézanne. There you go. And here's a book cover, which I actually got also in Winchester to send to my friend Dave, who is a football man, more than I am, but nevertheless. There you go. And here for the chess players amongst you, and I know that there are some chess pieces, far more so than it's the earliest known group of chess pieces in the world, originating in India in an aristocratic game. Chess spread through the Silk Road's routes and became popular across the Islamic world and Europe. The pieces are made of ivory that likely came from India. They reflect the movement of luxury goods and elite customs in the Islamic period. Probably made in India, I think I said that 3 times, excavated in Uzbekistan. There you are. I don't really think they necessarily are chess pieces. I hope they are. And I like to think that some fun was got out of them, but I don't really know. Just to go back to Winchester, here's one of these cards, which is 4 cards or reduced down of the cathedral. And nearby, chapter house. The bloke that spark out going is William of Wickham, and of course the school and the old boys of the college are called Wickhamists, aren't they? So there you are. I think this is Tudor. The address only to be written here. Halfpenny stamp, printed in Saxony. I think he's rather fine. I like it. If I had better eyesight than I do, I could work out who he is. And if I had my magnifier, I could work it out too. Here's some cards from my trip up to Liverpool, I think. No, it isn't. It's from Ironbridge. It's very modern, doesn't it? Almost sci-fi. I like it, though. A dramatic entrance building to Bliss Hill Victorian Town. I'm sorry, my eyesight's terrible. I do apologise. Anyway, there you are. This looks Dutch. And it is set in Holland, yes. Pleasing, but nothing exciting. But pleasing. Similarly with this one. 45 buildings on the banks of a canal. It's actually a card rather than a postcard. It's a greetings card. It's actually from Cheltenham. But nevertheless, I think it's continental. That's what my money's on, the continent. So staying with the continent, what about this? You'd expect to stay here for the night, would you? Look at that. That really is splendid. Nantes, this is. Well, that is in France. At least that little bit I do know. See the towers at the front. That's really something, isn't it? Here we have a few churches, old churches. Most churches are old. Not all. This is Bond Church, Old Church, Isle of Wight. This picturesque and historic old church was built in 1070. It said it's used occasionally for religious services. Oh, how unusual. I shouldn't be so sarcastic, I know, but you know. Now here's something a bit more local to me. This is at Elstead. This is West Sussex. I thought Elstead was, maybe there's two Elsteads or several. This is St Paul's Church anyway. And it looks to be in a good state of nick. Here we are. And finally for the religious side of it, this is in France. There you are. It's quite an old card. Yes, quite old. Bastille de la Madeleine, built in 1150. So there we are. Here's something from a much earlier collection of cards. It's a Medici, and it's a Hampshire Oak and Ash from Mervyn Good. That's the artist. And it's a painting. See the hand post? See? And the old track. And various scrubby trees. Well, the one on the left isn't so scrubby. This is from one of my many trips to Reading, which I enjoy enormously. Sadly, I don't work there anymore. I got some fun over it when I did. It's a schoolroom, Victorian schoolroom in the Museum of Reading. I went to the Museum of Reading recently, and we went up to about the 4th or 5th floor, and it had some new stuff up there, modern computers room. It's very interesting, because in a way the computers room is what's aging fast, apart from me. That's the same card. Got two the same. And here we are in Sussex, on the coast. And a card from my friend Dave. See that? That's the pier. Now, if I say this looks like it's a Turner, I bet you I'm wrong. So I'm not going to say it looks like a Turner, and I might be right. It is by Turner. Well, how's that? It was printed in England. And it is hung in Kenwood. And it is Turner. It's quite dark, so I'm not showing it off to its best effect. But if you had it, you could have it lit rather differently, couldn't you? There's a boat which has obviously been saved from being smashed to pieces, and a larger one on the right, and one still in peril in the middle of the wave. And even though it's quite near to the coast, I think you'll agree with me, you might need a bit of help, which only a helicopter could give, because any other boat that went out to try and help them would be an equal, if not worse even, peril. Don't need to explain the word love to you. And here again, something I showed earlier, the 4 cards put together for a New Forest image. This is by Denny Wood, Mark Ashwood, Boulderwood, and Rhinefield. So I think that's probably the type of trees. And it's called From New Forest Images by Kevin Brewer. Mr. Kevin Brewer, there you are, New Forest in autumn. Some fruit. It's quite interesting to see the back because it's not the usual stuff. It says postcard in many languages. Don't know how many. Like 10 maybe. 8 to 10. There we are. And another look at it. It's rather fine. Smaller card, so it goes in my albums better. Now here's one of the few cards I'm showing you I don't even like. I got this when I was up in Liverpool, but I'm no fan of it. This is from the Street Life Museum in Hull, not Liverpool. Oh, I said Liverpool. Lady Chesterfield's sleigh. Well, Lady Chesterfield's welcome to it. Did not like it. Now, who do you think this is? I'll give you a clue. He wasn't French, and he wasn't crowned. He's in fact Napoleon, because he crowned himself, didn't he? He snatched the crown away. Jacques Louis David, and it's Bonaparte. Well, you know, 1798, and it's Musée du Louvre, the Louvre Museum, of course. I'm very interested in Napoleonic history. I have been for many, many years. And there's Napoleon, an unfinished portrait, but I don't think that matters. You can see where it was sketched out, but incomplete. And the artist is Jacques Louis David, who lived to 1825. So he lived 5 years longer than Napoleon. And there is l'Empereur. Now, for the chess people amongst you, and I know that there's hundreds and hundreds, here are some chess pieces. A set I would like to give. And on the other side, there's actually a game in algebraic notation, figurine algebraic notation, run by Rossolimo, who was a taxi driver in New York. He ran a chess salon. In other words, there were sets and coffee and probably a few drinks on offer too. This is another one from my Liverpool trip. Eleanor Fortescue Brickdale, The Little Foot Page. And this is from the Walker Gallery, which was near to where I was visiting the chess. She's rather grand. She's carrying an enormous dagger, presumably in an effort of self-defense. I'd hate to think that she was actually going to brandish it, much less use it. And on the floor, there appears to be a brooch. Please forgive me, I can't quite work out what the other things are. It looks like leaves, but there may be a great deal more to it than that. Daisies as well, of course. There we are, show you again. I probably got a book which would explain it to me in a great deal more detail. And it would be interesting, but for the moment, I'm going to wallow in ignorance. This is, I think, on the floor of the St. George's Hall. Live a bird with insignia from Minton tile floor. I've actually got some Minton. A few antiques I've ever bought, or knowingly bought. It was £5. And I use it as a sort of a beer mat, and quite pleased with it. Let's see what this is. I don't know. It's a Boyd. Our God is happy to be with us. Something like that. Deus nobis, so our God. Fake it is doing something else. Fake it fully. Yes, I think so. Here. Hike. Well, this God is doing something else. It's extremely ornate, but it's not necessarily giving away too much. And it's Minton, so there you are. Mine's green and white as well. Picture of the London Underground. The tube train entering Piccadilly Circus. Photograph care of London by permission of London Transport. You don't have to dwell too long on that. And here again is another Liverpool one. Do they never end? With the Fab Four. Now, who's this? It's a bust of Hadrian in military dress, one of the many portraits of the emperor and his family found in Hadrian's villa near Trivoli, AD 117 to 118, and it is in marble. It's obviously very beautiful, and I'd like to think accurate portrayal of what he looked like, but as to that, with respect, we may never know. There we are. Now here's something which could be almost anything. A young girl, head of the Virgin, Baroque, and it's Tudor Beetham. It belonged to the late Queen, our Queen. Presumably it hangs or is stored in Buckingham Palace. There you are. Now, don't get bored, because there's still one or two more to come. These are local cards for me. There's lots of cards of the statue of Jane Austen, which is in the old part of Basingstoke, near the museum, near the Willis Museum. This statue has been there for about 10, 12 years. And there she is. This is where I used to live and still close to my heart, Odium. That's the high street. And it was posted in Farnham and sent out to London, up to Smithfield, where the stinky old fish is. And there's a stamp here from, I suppose it's either George V or Edward VII. Forgive me, I don't know which. I'd have to get out a catalogue and check. But the date on it is 1906. So, there we are. And this is Odium again, the chalk pit. Still in the plastic cover. And this is from 1917. And this was sent out to Canada, where about that time I started to have relations, even though I didn't know it because I wasn't born. And that shows you the chalk pit, which is on Crown Hill. Very impressive then, as now. It is too. Well worth going to see. Here's Odium. Here's Basingstoke, sorry, where I now live. This is a Valentine's card. Dearest Nell, just arrived here from Reading about half an hour ago. Love, Waif or Naif. And it's a card sent in 1938. No, sorry, 1933. And there's George VI on the to Eastbourne. The stamp is the little definitive of George VI, the late Queen's father. Here's the town hall. This tower at the top with the clock doesn't exist anymore, but the rest of it does, and very neat and tidy it is too, and it's well worth visiting. They frequently have different exhibitions on, and a nice gift shop, which I always enjoy, and they serve teas and coffees, and you can get penguin biscuits and stuff like that. This is from 1907, and it was sent to the Isle of Wight. I won't attempt to read the message, but it was obviously quite enthusiastically written and received, I hope. Certainly enthusiastically written anyway. Here's a much more recent one, a bit dull in a way. I think the cameraman should have been nearer to his subject matter. The railway station. These days called a train station. I can't stand that word, but there we are, that way of saying it, but you both know what I mean. Basingstoke. This is from a very well-known collection of cards. Thornycross, where my father worked. Can't quite see him working there, but nevertheless, he did. A local shop, butchers, I suppose. Yes, butchers. Lipton's Provision Dealers, 6 London Street, circa 1920, so it's about 100 years ago. All of them standing out there in their whites, newly starched perhaps. And they always look proud, don't they? Why not? Why not look proud? Nothing wrong with that. Here's some cows. Some little girls in Chapel Street. And if you can tell me where Chapel Street is now, I'd be grateful to know, because I don't know where it is. There's no point in saying it's up towards the railway station, because lots of things are up towards the railway station. This is the Harrow Inn in Church Street. I'm not a great pubs person, but I certainly would show my face. It looks good, doesn't it? There you go. American ice fruit drinks and soda fountain. Oh, there we are. It says Roundtrees, a name that endures today, doesn't it? There we are. It's not a very good photo for reproducing, and the sign at the top says ice is for ice creams, isn't it? It's Hopkins Confectioner and Soda Fountain, and it's from 1910 or thereabouts, so before the First World War. And here the horse is taking a drink. The 5th Royal Irish Fusiliers, Basingstoke. First World War, it says. Yes, I'm sure it is. And the soldiers marching past. And this is at the top of Sarum Hill. And there to prove it is the sign for Salisbury. I can bet you now that there isn't a sign to Salisbury. And here's London Road. It looks like a disparate. Glad to know or pleased with the parcel. We're all much as usual. Cold's better. Send a line where you came, sweet. The study is going on all right, and you take is short, as your time is short. Some love from all to yours affectionately, G.S. And this is sent to Miss Smart and Mrs. Wickham, Talbot Cottage, Warminster. And the postmark is Easton, which is near Winchester. I happen to know that bit. I didn't know anything else. Too long to write a letter this week, that they have written. In other words, they can't be bothered to write a letter. Well, that's not so bad. Interesting. I mean, there's the long lane, which now leads into Basingstoke. And this card cost me a couple of quid. It's clearly worth it. It's very unusual. Right, and I'll just show you to conclude in a very nice card indeed. Who are these gentlemen? They are, in fact, I think it's George V. Visiting Basingstoke. Yes, it is. There we are. Not too much happening on the other side. But it says real photo. So there you are. Well, this has been quite a stint all the way through. And I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you very much for your time. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye.